Alrighty guys, so here's my Gypsey Caravette 6, and what we're going to do is just look at what I've done on the electrical side of things. So coming in here is our usual caravan shore charge, and that just goes to a Janus coupler. And then going into the caravan, I've got a plug that can either connect to an extension or it can connect to that shore charge. And the reason why I've done that is so that I can put a surge protection plug, because you never know what's coming your way. I also have little adapters, so either way I can either connect to an extension or I can connect to that shore charge, and I'm a little bit protected from surges or anything untoward that could happen, because you have no control over the power that's coming into your caravan. So that's what I've done there. And then moving on inside, this is where the magic happens. So I'm going to just show you what I've done, so you can get some ideas. You don't have to do it exactly like home. I have an electrician look at it. He's very happy with everything, certified. He says great, lovely installation. So what have I done? Over here, let's move around here. That is our power box. So let's hang those keys up. What I've done here is that shore power comes in to a main DB board. In that main DB board is an earth leakage and a 16 amp breaker. That then powers one double plug, and that is the power coming in. Finished. Doesn't go anywhere else. It only goes in there. As you can see, blood, sweat and tears. So then what I've done is our caravan DB board, which has another earth leakage and all the breakers, I've put on an extension or a plug. So that at the moment is plugged into the inverter. There's also a 24 volt inverter which stands up here on a stand, but that is only for long term. This is a crab tree, so it's separate. It's an older crab tree, which is why that looks older. That is where the 24 volts. So you can either connect your caravan to the 24 volt inverter, or you can connect it to the 12 volts inverter, or you can connect it to shore power. And that covers the AC side of things. For the AC, I've got a Victron 12 volt 1200 watt inverter. I leave it switched on fully, so I can turn it on, off, and put it on echo mode using my phone. I do have, and this is a little cheat, this I have not installed, a cell phone charger and a cell phone holder, and I keep a cell phone in here, and then that is connected through via Bluetooth to the Victron network, to that dongle, and to the batteries. So I have full control over everything here. I can then connect to that phone remotely using AirDroid and AirMirror. If you use that, you'll have to Gemini all the settings, because it's very complicated to get it running. That the remote phone doesn't drop connection. So that is going to probably go up there. I'm not sure yet. Right, so I'm a bit low on batteries. I've got 200 amp hour gelato batteries. I'm quite fond of these gelatos. They're very cost effective, and so far they've been great. The two batteries have a maximum AC discharge of 100 amps. So they are protected by individual 80 amp fuses. They're connected in parallel with these cables exactly the same length. So their resistance is the same. They're onto our bus bar system here. And this I've just got this in, so I need to square that off. The draw here is for our 12 volt systems. That is your positive and negative 40 amp fuse on 5 millimeter cable. That comes out here. Now this is for the caravan's 12 volt. Now on the caravan's 12 volt, I can switch between my AC power supply or battery, and battery being this. And then what I've done is I've popped a little breaker here. That is for this battery. And then I've put in this charge controller. Now, yes, I know you saw another charge controller there. This charge controller's only purpose is to have a low voltage cutoff. So my low voltage cutoff on the batteries, I've decided to set it at 11 because I don't want them fully discharged and the BMS kicking in. This whole thing is designed for the battery not to have the BMS have to control it anymore, which is why we have 80 amp fuses and a low voltage cutoff of 11 volts set here. That's on the DC side. On the inverter, I've set the low voltage cutoff on that, also 11, and then I have got it on a dynamic low voltage cutoff on the AC side. So if there's a bigger load, which you don't really pull, coming off there, it sense there's a bigger load, there is charge in the batteries. This is just a voltage drop, it's not a low voltage. There's a big difference there. I've got 25 mil cables, were all sufficient for the currents they're carrying. The inverter's on 120 amp fuse, and so that fuse protects the cable and the inverter, everything, and these protect the battery. And then I have a little short charger here, if you want to call it little. That's a Victron 30 amp charge. Now this is interesting because the solar charge controller, which is the 150/35, we're going to get into that in another video. I haven't connected the panels yet, the panel singular, does not take preference over the shore charger. So you cannot set it to like solar battery utility priority or any of the utility, or SBU or any of that. You can't set it. So what I've done is I've put the shore charger's AC supply onto a 30 amp smart switch over there. So that 30 amp smart switch I can control either on my phone. I don't need to go flipping switches or anything. Or I can put it on a schedule. So the AC shore charger can take over at night, or I can switch it off permanently, or I can put it on when I feel like it, and then we'll switch off in the morning, and the power charging will be taken over by the smart charge controller 150/35. So 35 amps going in. Obviously I can only fit one panel on the roof, so I'm going with a 460 watt half cell mono panel. I can't put a bigger panel because it's a pop top and we don't know how strong the roof is. It's not very strong. I have put these supports in, and I have cut out wood rot, so it is quite strong, but I still would not put a full size panel on this roof. So I am limited by panel size, and that is quite possibly the biggest, most efficient panel, with a solar charge controller that really can take it. And should I add more, it can take that too. You may want to put more on the roof rack of the bucky or something, and everything coming, off bus bars, everything fused correctly. So it's just a couple of ideas. It's a very busy compartment. I haven't squared anything off yet because I'll probably pop another battery in there. You know how it goes. If you see a space, you pop a battery in. Obviously the lines will be the same length, so I do need to keep them long enough. And I have learned if you cut cables, you have to redo them because you've moved the shore charger to a different position. Over here, what's going on is that any of the DC going out to the caravan is all fused. Each line is fused appropriately, and we do still need to put the equipment grounds on, but for the rest, we are 100% safe against fire or anything. Everything is fused and everything is as it should be, and I quite like this system. I'm quite possibly the only person that understands the system because I built the system, but it's very versatile. Am I going to go long term with a 24 volt inverter that can then over here charge the shore charger, or am I going to take it, or where am I going to take it off? At the moment, when the caravan's in storage, battery out and inverter out, and then what I'll be doing is I'll be popping the caravan into shore charge, so it is getting power, and then our shore charger over there is controlled with a schedule or whatever. I can just monitor the battery voltage and switch that on. So guys, I hope this video has helped you. Just get some ideas with your Caravette, how you want to do your power. Just remember a couple of things. Obviously, for every 1,000 watts you're pulling on an inverter, you're going to need a 100 amp hour plus a 100 amp hour buffer. So if I was running a bigger inverter, say a 2,000 watt, I would need 2,000 amp hours plus a buffer. That is your bare minimum, bearing in mind that you cannot run it. You can, but you can't. This thing specifies 150 amp hour or amps minimum on your battery. That's why we've got it split into two over there and protected with fuses. So yep, you're going to need 200 amp hours on that. So actually, you probably, it depends on budget. You know, I don't have the budget to go and spend 12 grand on two 200 amp hour batteries. So I've got 200 amp hours, and it's going to do the job. And because if I needed more, I'm going to put the bigger inverter in. So yeah, I hope this has given you. We've had to sacrifice our junk drawer here, and we'll get some fans in. There is already one, but that needs connecting. And that's pretty much that. Like I say, Hanman says you're probably going to over-engineer it, and I don't think there's such a thing as over-engineering. I think there's such a thing as just doing it the right way, and that's it. So guys, I hope this video has helped you. If it has, please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.